Just a podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Just a Podcast, episode 4. Today we're going to talk about trains and why they're important to modern society.
But first, let's go to our article section with correspondent Chet Children.
This is off to a great start already. As always, we gave ourselves code words for our articles. Trey, what was yours?
Grandmother.
And mine was bee. So, once again, assumedly we don't have the same one.
All right,
You want to go first?
I think I always go first.
Okay, I'll go
Let's
first.
hear about your bees.
I just want to give you the option to go first. All right. Montana beekeepers' stolen hives are recovered in sting operation.
Wow, you know that guy had a good day, right? That article,
right. He was like, do I get a raise for this one? You offset it in quotation marks.
Oh, it's not really a sting operation, is it?
No, probably not. A California sting operation, I guess it is. A California sting operation helped recover most of the stolen hives that belonged to a Montana beekeeper. Lloyd Cuniff of Chateau, Montana, reported 488 hives stolen in January after he transported them to a property in Yuba City, California for the almond population season. Cuniff did not expect to see the hives again, but after communicating with the California beekeeping community, he suspected that Ukrainian Russians may have been part of the theft.
Whoa. Wait. How can... Wait.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty far-fetched assumption to make, huh?
How do you know that?
The Fresno County Agricultural Task Force's investigation into the theft picked up after they received a tip from a Missouri beekeeper. An employee at a Ukrainian-Russian-operated bee farm noticed a hive that looked similar to a picture of the hive his friend in Missouri had reported stolen. The employee contacted the Missouri beekeeper, who went to California and provided law enforcement with pictures of the hives.
So, wait a minute. Maybe my ignorance is showing. You can get so good at being a beekeeper, you can tell two hives apart by sight?
Apparently.
Maybe they look drastically different, but he's like, I think that's the one that was stolen from a Montana man, the one who suspected Ukrainian Russians, and somehow, coincidentally, I'm standing here next to a Ukrainian-Russian-run beekeeping operation in the United States.
The tip led Fresno County authorities to find $170,000 worth of stolen hives in a rented bee nursery space, a cow pasture, and hidden in a drainage along the freeway. Fresno County Detective Anders Solis, a member of the county's Agricultural Crimes Task Force, said there were 10 victims in 7 California counties in all. 2 men had been arrested and charged with possession of stolen property. There may be more arrests as the investigation unfolds. Law enforcement suspects that Ukrainian Russians are stealing beehives to finance organized crime rings. This has been going on for about 3 years, Solis said.
I guess at least they're off the drug trade, but wait a minute.
No, they're using it as a front for the drug trade to fund it.
Okay, wait.
So first thing I want to know is that apparently the beekeeping world is much larger than I suspected. Considering there's an almond population season, first off. What is it? The Fresno County Agricultural Task Force.
Who were dispatched specifically for the purpose of protecting bees.
Right. Like, I don't know, this whole thing, it feels fake to me. It feels like that comes from an alternate dimension where beekeeping is way bigger than it feels like it really is.
It's like a sketch. It's legit just like a sketch. And the best part to me was a drainage ditch.
Yeah, a drainage ditch. They didn't even care. They were like, oh, we put them in the cow pasture. We put them in this field. Where do we put the rest of them? Well, there's a ditch over there, Johnny. If you think that'll work. If you think that'll fit them.
There's no way the bees are still rocking and rolling if they're stuck in a ditch.
I don't know, dude.
I don't know about bees much, not gonna lie.
Also, how many bees is $170,000 worth of bees? Right? Like, how many bees
It's gotta
do you
be
have
more
to
than
have?
170,000 bees. There's no way you're paying $1 per bee.
Yeah, no way you're paying $1 per bee. That's way too many bees. Dollars.
So wait a minute. Alright, how much? Okay, wait. So, how many bees do you get for $1? Then we'll find this out.
Okay.
How many bees do you get for $1?
Yeah, how many?
Take a guess. Okay. Hold on.
What's the bee to dollar ratio here?
Look at my questions. Okay.
I would guess
bees can you buy for $1?
if we're talking like high quality honeybees, I would say probably 2 or 3 per dollar for some high quality honeybees.
Okay. So, how much does the average honeybee cost? Thanks, honeybeesweet.com. When your 3-pound package of bees arrives, aren't you just dying to know how many bees are in there?
No.
You know the cost per pound, but what's the cost per bee? Okay. So, there could be upwards to 4,000 bees in a pound. So you get a 3-pound package, you're getting 12,000 bees. Oh,
holy cow.
Your cost
hey,
per
71
bee.
cents per bee.
All right, so we got 71 cents on the bee. So
yeah.
So that means if we're talking about a $170,000 scam, we divide that by 0.71, yeah?
Yeah.
That means there were 239,436.62
Look up how many bees to a hive.
Okay.
And you figure out how many hives were stolen.
Wasn't that information in the story?
I don't know. Let's calculate
Okay.
it.
How many bees per hive? I made a bit of a mistake, and so how many beers per homo actually count? 20 males, 80,000 females.
So 100,000.
100,000.
So
that was only 2 hives.
That was only 2.5 hives.
That's
assuming our math worked out.
Wait a minute. So 2.5 hives is worth $170,000. Why are we going to college?
Why don't we just go into beekeeping?
Dude, I'm not even playing.
We could do a startup business for free. I know so many people willing to get rid of the bees on their porch. Like, we could just go into it. One thing you have to worry about, though, is bear attacks.
One thing you really have to worry about is how afraid of bees you are.
I'm terrified of bees. Can I tell you guys a story about how terrified I am of certain creatures? Bees, absolutely. Bees much less than hornets or wasps, though. If I see a bee, I'll tense up. If I see a hornet or wasp, I'll freeze. It's terrible. I can't stand it. But my next thing is we mentioned on the show, I'm pretty terrified of spiders.
Oh my god.
I'm pretty terrified of them.
Yeah.
Last night, in fact, there was a large spider. We all kick off our shoes in our apartment when we come in. There's this little area at the front of the door where we kick off our shoes to keep the carpet nice. Right above this, along the wall, was a spider. He was right next to the door. So at first I was like, oh, you know what? I'll open the door and try to get him to crawl out. But as I got close to him, my shadow scared him and he started freaking out and running. So I was like, no, that's stopping. We are not causing this giant spider to run to a place where I can't find him. So I had to I had to try to coax him out, but he ended up falling into the shoes, which was exactly what I didn't want to happen. So what I had to do is I put on a leather jacket, put on large, thick rubber gloves, and got a Swiffer mop. Took off the mop head, and pulled and used the Swiffer mop to drag each individual shoe to me, which I then knocked out to make sure he wasn't in them. Eventually, I found him. He had not made his way into a shoe, but he was on his way to the inside of it. He was on the shoe, crawling toward the opening.
Whoa. Wow, that's terrible.
He was huge, dude. The picture did not do him justice. Trey wasn't here.
No, however, I received upwards of 30+ messages saying, Trey, where are you at? Trey, I need help. There's a spider, Trey.
That's not an exaggeration.
They had renamed the group chat to, Trey, please help. There's a spider.
It was pretty terrible. Anyway, I tried to. Trey usually gets the spiders out without killing them.
Right.
So I tried to do that. Just that. I tried to be very passive with him. But I actually I put him outside the threshold of the door. He was sitting on our welcome mat on the outside of the door, and he ran back in.
Well, it said welcome.
It actually says wipe your paws.
Oh yeah, it does.
And he did this 3 times, and on the third, he did this 2 times, and on the third time, while I was bringing him out, he accidentally hit the wall and kind of crushed. So I tried to get him out peacefully, but I didn't. But it was a long ordeal of me and my girlfriend. Usually, okay, so I've been trying to get a lot better at spiders, and I've killed / saved quite a few spiders in the last year, much more than I have in the entire 20 years before that combined. But that one was just so big. That spider was so big that like I was like legitimately like terrified. It was terrible. I know this is a bit of an aside from the beekeeping story, but I thought it fit well in here because it's a story and this is just a podcast.
Joshua was like I've seen this man lose his mind about hornets and spiders. I do remember we used to live on the 3rd floor of a building, and
true story.
And there was of an apartment building, and there was a hornet buzzing around, and I continued like to walk on past the hornet because what are you gonna do? Punch it? Joshua, on the other hand, was very prepared to punch it. There was like, I was like walking on. He was like, "How can you do this?" I'm like, what? He's like, "Hit it." He's like, "Look, there are 2 options with hornets. You either run or you fight."
see, here's why I'm so prepared to fight him. All right, they smell your fear, and I cannot not be afraid.
So you know that they're.
So I know that they're gonna smell my fear and attack me. So I have to be ready.
This is a preemptive strike. Is what's going on.
It's exactly what
we're gonna Pearl Harbor the wasps.
Can I?
Okay.
No, that's why I'm so prepared to fight him. There's a reason for this.
Okay. You ready for mine?
Yeah.
This is from theindependent.co.uk.
Mine was from Fox News, by the way.
I thought it'd be from B News. Grandmother on 10-minute trip accidentally drives 300 miles to Scotland after taking wrong turn.
Oh, good.
Valerie Johnson's daughter said her mother hates driving and doesn't usually drive more than 3 miles. An 83-year-old grandmother worried her family and was alerted to police after she mistakenly drove for 300 miles to Scotland instead of 6 miles to her local hospital appointment. Don't worry, I'm just going to the hospital. By the way, do you know the best place for hummus?
My favorite part about this just already is that it didn't occur to her that she's been driving for a little while here.
She hasn't made
it.
Valerie Johnson was driving to Peopleton's Royal Hospital in Worcester, just 6 miles from her home, when road work diverted her and she drove for 8 hours.
How do you accidentally drive for 8 hours?
I don't know. I've driven for 8 hours, and God knows I noticed it. It takes a long time.
Oh, it does.
She ended up in Larkhill, Scotland, where she ran out of fuel. By that point, her daughter, 49-year-old Karen Maskell, had called police worried by her mother's absence and had to get a flight to Scotland to go and pick her up. Miss Johnson had missed a turnoff near Worcester and had continued north on the M5 and M6 until she crossed the border. Her family reported her as missing on the 5th of May. Jesus Christ. Could you imagine? I'm sorry, grandmother. You're very cute. You're very endearing. Could you imagine being that bad at directions? I know that I'm pretty bad at directions, but that, like, I have never driven to Florida and not noticed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could you imagine doing that?
I've never driven to another city and not noticed.
No, me either. Well, you know, I almost did. I think I almost drove to like, Ville or something. Oh, wait. To Bleep Land or something. I don't know. It's a local town. Anyway, and like, it's basically a right turn to there and a left turn to here.
Yeah.
And so I just went, like, you know what I'm talking about, that little space where it's
yeah.
And so I just went, like, I just was like, I don't remember which way to go. And then I went that way. And then I was like, wait, that's the wrong way. And I, like, U-turned back. I didn't even make it all the way to town. I could not imagine hitting not another state, not another county, not another city, another country.
Yeah. Do you think we could get to... Okay, real talk.
Yeah.
Do you think we can get to A, Canada, or B, Mexico in 8 hours?
In 8 hours? It can't even take a plane, yeah. If we know. Otherwise, no. No way.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, no. I mean, I guess if you drove like 120, but you'd have to encounter no traffic. Like, I don't know.
You think we're going to range it?
We could find out a way. We're closer to Mexico.
Is that so?
Yeah, so, well, maybe not with all the horizontal we have to go.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we will. I'm very intrigued.
The Scottish Daily Record also reported the couple looked after her while they waited for her daughter. A couple looked after her. There's more to the story. Mom's next door neighbor called me to say she hadn't come back and he was worried. I thought she must have had an accident. We called the police, and by the time I got to her house, they had spotted her car on a traffic camera at Preston at 11 p.m. I said it couldn't be my mom because she hates driving. She doesn't usually drive more than 3 miles, but it was her, and she was still headed north, and we had to get the Scottish police involved.
How?
She drove 100 times the amount that she's usually comfortable driving and didn't notice.
How?
So apparently this is all psychosomatic. I don't know.
Yeah, that's so weird, dude. Like, when I drive, I don't, anyone who knows me knows I don't really enjoy driving, but I do it.
Oh,
but
I
like,
didn't know that.
Really?
Because you always are driving.
Yeah, I'm always driving, because what am I going to do? Not drive?
No, but you like, not only are you always driving, every time you go anywhere, you volunteer to drive.
Because I know other people don't like driving too. So I don't want them to have to drive. I don't hate it,
so I would drive for you. But you always are like, hey, I'll drive. And I'm like, okay, I guess Joshua really likes driving.
No, I really don't like driving. Recently, so for those of you who don't know, I had my car stolen. So once I got my new car,
to laugh at that, but that was a really ridiculous situation.
So once I got my new car, I started to enjoy driving just a tad more. Just refound this independence that I was missing for about a month and a half. But I still don't really enjoy driving, right? Like when I'm heading to work, I'm like, can I just be there now? And I'm only halfway there.
Right.
I can't imagine, and my work's about 6 minutes away, 6 to 10.
Right.
Can't imagine just going to work and ending up 8 hours away and just being like, I didn't know how that happened.
And you know what's crazy? She didn't like look out of her window and be like, it's quite dark here.
Yeah, or look out her window and say like, oh, that sign says welcome to Scotland. She didn't see any of that.
She shouldn't be legally allowed to drive.
No, she really should
pull her license.
I have this, now I know this isn't US, but I have this idea that you should be required to retake your driver's test, at some point. Like, maybe not every 10 years when you get your license renewed, but maybe every 20 years to show that you are still capable of having a license. This just becomes more appropriate as you get older.
Yes,
because there are lots of like elderly people who cause accidents because they're losing this part of their that controls the finer motor details of their.
I might do it by age then, because all I'm saying is you get a mom, like a suburban mom. She's like 40. She hasn't parallel parked in literally 20 years. She goes take her driver's license test. Now she fails it and she can't get to work the next morning. It's like, I mean,
that's fair enough.
Well, but she's completely capable of driving. She drove herself to the driving test. It's kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like, what, or she's not done a 3-point turn in so long. It's like,
well, then in that case, like, if you know you're going to have to do it, then practice it.
Yeah, if you know you have to do it, then practice it. But why add these extra steps to people's lives?
Safety,
right? But do it to people who are elderly, and maybe a more generalized test. I already think that the parallel parking being on the test is okay, but it being an automatic failure if you can't parallel park like 100% every single time, I think is really silly, because I know I've seen people on the street not be able to do it and not spontaneously combust.
Yeah, no,
I can't stand that.
And it wouldn't be so bad. I know we've talked about this in our personal lives, but it's relating to the show as well. It wouldn't be so bad if you tap the poles in front or behind you, which indicates another car.
Right, I understand that.
If you tap that, then you fail.
I can agree with that because you hit a car.
But if you tap the curb, at least where we live, tapping the curb is an automatic fail.
Yeah.
Why? Who do you hurt tapping the curb?
No, nobody. And the fact of the matter is that you tap the curb and you go, oh.
And you straighten it out. You just straighten it out really quick and it's done.
Yeah. I think it's really silly. That, and then like straight line backing, there's like I don't know, man. Like they're like, we want to test if you can do that. Didn't I back out of the parking lot?
Yeah.
How long am I going to have to drive straight backwards? Because that's not legal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Yeah. Or like, I was told I would fail a 3-point turns if you went a little bit too far to the right before you start them, because you're gonna like go slightly off of the road, like by like that much. I'm holding up at like about 2 inches with my finger. It's like, Why? Literally, if I can legally pull off of the road, why can't I legally like move over to the side of the road? It's just there's so many little driving rules I don't get. I don't understand why they exist.
And perhaps we're just ignorant.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't discount the fact that I'm an idiot.
Yeah. But it just seems so weird that it's...
You're not gonna argue with me? You're not gonna tell me how smart I am?
But there are just a lot of things that seem like... And I know the idea of the driving test is... This is something so important to do correctly.
Yeah, of course.
So we want to make sure you are as perfect as possible before we put you in a position where you can murder people.
Absolutely, but...
So I understand that.
Well, here's my issue with that, is the driving test is a situation in which you can murder people.
Yeah, isn't it?
You're driving on a public road, almost always. I know some places have closed courses, but typically not, especially in places that can't afford it. Like, we live in a relatively rural area.
Yeah.
We're not capable of that kind of thing.
Right. So it's a weird scenario for sure, for certain.
Mm-hmm.
Really true.
And grandmothers will never succeed.
No. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, yeah, I mean specifically, I specifically want to I would like that for elderly citizens.
Right. Okay.
So
I'm with you there.
That's why I'm saying like maybe every 20 years, But that makes sense.
My first thing is to revolutionize the driving test world, because we don't need automatic failures for parallel parking on the driving test.
And if we do have automatic failure, I think any time you have an automatic failure on an exam,
right,
put it at the beginning. Make it the very first thing you do. Mm. Because if I fail the parallel parking at the very end of the exam, I just wasted 20 minutes of your time, 20 minutes of my time, and some gas.
Yeah.
Whereas if we waited and then did it, or sorry, if we went ahead and did it at the start, then no time was wasted. It's all perfect. It's all peachy. It's all good.
Peach king. Aren't you glad you chose me to be your podcast partner?
I'm starting to be less glad.
Well, let's go to a commercial break. Make you more glad.
You have problems being glad? Take some Glad supplements.
Just a podcast.
Welcome back to the show.
That's what this is.
That's what... Hey. Today we're doing we're going back to a question segment.
Yeah.
Due to poor planning.
The question segment we did in the first episode. Basically, we each have 3 questions prepared for one another. They can be good. They can be bad. They're probably bad. Let's go right into the news.
You want to ask first?
Sure.
Cool.
Here's the first question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to make this not. I'm trying to make this. I'm gonna save the heavy question for last, I guess, because I killed the heavy question by accident. Do you enjoy the movie theater experience?
No.
Me?
I 100% hate it.
Really?
200% hate it.
Wow. No, I kind of like it. It's okay. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's fun.
Nah. Okay, so let's start from the top down, right?
Okay, so you walk in.
No. Before you walk in, you have to give them $8 a head.
Well, yeah.
And that's a cheap theater.
Yeah.
That's a cheap theater.
Yeah.
So before you walk in, you're doing $8 a head at a cheap theater, right? That's number one of why I don't like movies. You can buy a Blu-ray for like $25. So if you're taking 2 people to a theater, just give it another $10 and you got the Blu-ray version of it without screaming children.
Infinite movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one time with screaming children.
Yeah. So $8 a head. And then you're gonna be tempted to get some soda.
Oh, and you're gonna get popcorn.
And you're gonna get popcorn.
I really want some popcorn.
No matter how many times you tell yourself that you're gonna walk in there and not get popcorn and a soda, you're going to walk in there and get popcorn and a soda.
And
even when you bring your own snacks, sneak them in through a purse or in your pants. Even when you do that,
what if you sneak in popcorn?
How?
Get those white cheddar popcorns. Those are so good.
Yeah, but those aren't movie theater popcorn.
Oh, they are to me.
That's fair. That's fair.
Good for me.
But so then even if you sneak in your stuff, you're still gonna buy them. And let's say you don't though. Let's say you don't pay the $10 for a popcorn and a soda.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
You still go in there, and and there's a good chance, or not a good chance, but there's a chance, depending on the theater, time of the year, time of the day, movie, that you're going to get a relatively closed theater, or relatively empty. Right. So there's a good chance that you'll get a relatively empty theater. But for the most part, you're probably going to get about half crowded theater, if not more. Especially if you want to go see some of the big blockbuster hits. Like I'm going to be seeing Pirates of the Caribbean's on opening night because I'm super excited about that movie. I know it's my fault for going opening night, but
all
the point remains.
Complain about it the whole
time.
All
I'm going to do is complain, and I already know that. I'm fully aware, but there's going to be a lot of people there, and I'm going to hate it. 200%, but I want to see that movie so bad that what else am I going to do?
I mean, wait. Or go the next day.
That's not a good option. Well, the next day is a Saturday, so it'll be even more crowded. Opening weekend is still going to be the bad.
Well, I guess you can go on a weekday. Why? You're asking opportunities. I'm giving you them, and you're refusing.
I might wait, but the crux of this is that I don't want to wait any longer. I've been waiting for years.
You know what? I might want to go because that's a thing that's like I didn't like Pirates of the Caribbean 4 like almost at all.
I liked it. I think it had some merit.
I haven't rewatched it though, to be fair. I watched it when I was really young.
It definitely wasn't the best, and it definitely wasn't Pirates 2. Pirates 3 was alright, but it definitely wasn't.
Pirates 3 I thought was really one of the best ones.
Really? I'll have to rewatch it again.
Because it wrapped up like at literally every storyline so perfectly, and then they were like, JK, here's 4.
Yep. But it's so no, I hate the movie theater experience because you get screaming kids, you get coughing adults, you get people who just don't understand texting.
On the phone?
Yeah, you get people who just don't understand how to not bother other people, and that's what bothers me the most.
How can you pay like that much money for all that stuff and then get in on your phone and not pay attention?
Right.
That drives me wild. I don't understand.
Right. So no, I 100% hate it. It's the worst thing ever. Every time I go to a movie theater, I say, why did I do this? Except when I wanted to go see Doctor Strange. It was very weird. It was very strange. I wanted to go see Doctor Strange, and it was within the first week of it coming out. There were like 20 people in the theater. Maybe if that.
Right.
And I was shocked. Because that's an incredibly small number.
I thought you were going to talk about, because I've heard some people say that when you go on, premiere days in, big cities, that you often get, crowds that are really appreciative and even single-minded, very focused crowds, and even, sometimes, applauses for the movie and stuff like that. Now, I imagine that experience is a lot better than the experience you typically get.
Well, yeah, because what you're doing there is you're getting a really niche audience, right?
Yeah.
Especially if it's a
maybe you'll get that opening night.
Film. Yeah, perhaps. I want to go dressed as a pirate.
Oh, please do it. You'll get a lot of
Yeah,
attention.
I should get some pictures.
Yeah.
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 All right. Let me ask my first question.
No, okay.
Oh, you said no?
I just meant no. I didn't mean to interrupt your answer. Your turn.
This one's a bit of a weird one.
Oh, okay. Lay it on me.
Weird as in what? How would you sell hot cocoa in Florida?
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
You go down to all the bars.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't sound crazy. You go down to the bars. They're serving these fruity, ice cold lemonade, whatever drinks.
Mm-hmm.
What you want to do is make it alcoholic.
Okay.
So you take your regular hot chocolate and you make a deal with the bars to mix your hot chocolate in with alcohol and just find a good way that it works. Find a way to make it as tasty as possible. And people will buy it for the novelty. And when people buy it for the novelty and it says made with brand hot cocoa on it, I think that's where you're gonna find your niche.
You jumped on that pretty quick.
I think if you're careful, you could sell anything to drunk people. You don't even really have to be that careful.
Yeah, so I don't drink often.
No.
Right? But where I'm going with this is I've got an Amazon Echo now.
Were you drunk when you bought your Echo?
No.
Oh.
But what you can do with Echo is say, "Hey Alexa, buy a pack of batteries," and you can set it so you just say that, and she's like, "Okay," and she orders it, and you don't have to go on Amazon.com.
That's dangerous.
Oh, it's so dangerous.
I don't like that.
I disabled that as soon as I possibly could.
Good job.
Because I don't want to be joking around at any point in my life, drunk or not, and say Echo, buy all this. And she's like, all right, whatever you say. And then I
would
see
too.
$300 lose my account. And I don't want to have to, like, I'm sure there's a hidden clause in there that says, like, anything purchased with Amazon.echo, cannot be refunded under any means. Like, I'm just positive there's a hidden clause in there.
You would do it. I know the type of person you are. You would legit be out here, like, chilling, and then you would just, like, put your drink down and be like, Carrie, do we have any bubble gum? And you're like, no. And you're like, Alexa, buy 300 pounds of Hubba Bubba bubble gum. Alexa heard me.
You guys couldn't hear that, but as soon as Trey finished, she said, Alexa came from the other room, like 30 feet away, and was like, I don't know that.
But yeah, no, it's like, I know you would do that.
Yeah, I would. And then I'd just lose money. And so that's not cool. So yeah, absolutely. You can sell anything to drunk people. That's why that feature's there.
Yeah. All right. Here's question number 2 that, I want to use to transition into something that we decide we're gonna do, next week, but I want to promote it a little bit. You guys ready?
Oh yeah. Hype it up.
Here's the question.
Yeah.
Is there a spell to become a mermaid that actually works?
Yeah. So what you do? I assume so this only works if you're a witch. All right. But what you do is you get a cauldron, right?
Yeah.
What you need to do is you need to put seawater in there, genuine seawater, not salt water. Don't
put regular water.
Don't put regular. Yeah, just seawater straight up from the sea, but it needs to be from Bermuda, right?
Whoa.
Like or from like the Caribbean.
These magical islands.
Right. It needs to be from that area. It needs to be in like the Caribbean Sea, right? So you put seawater in there, and you get a couple fish. You throw them in there, but they have to be fish you have to find the most color variation between 3 fish. Right.
So you need like a bright red, a like pale white, and like a dark black.
Yeah, as much color variation between 3 fish as you possibly can get. You have to triangulate the rainbow, right?
Taste the rainbow, triangulate the rainbow. Go.
So you put them in there. Obviously, you need some seashells, some seaweed.
No, obviously.
And it really truly would not hurt to probably put one of those like little flower necklaces in there, right?
Malay, like the
yeah. And then so put that all in a cauldron, heat it up, not to boiling. Yeah, warm it up, air it. Not to boiling, but just like kind of like a hot tub, right? And then you submerge yourself in there and kill yourself.
So this question came directly from what I hope is a legitimate Yahoo Answers. And we decided there's such a gold mine on Yahoo Answers. This is what we want to do for the next question segment next week is going to be finding and answering and or ridiculing as many fantastic Yahoo Answers questions as we can find. So, just wanted to throw that one out there. What's your second question?
My second question.
Yeah.
This is a question for you, specifically, obviously, because you're a very pretentious man.
Whoa!
What would the name of your debut album be?
I came up with this a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Because, I was actually recording it. And
yeah.
it was, but, because it was a stupid mixtape thing. Anyway, point is, the idea was, it was going to be called Bedhead.
Mm-hmm.
And the front of the album was going to be like, me or somebody with like just their hair just completely stupidly ruffled. But the gimmick was going to be that it was a picture taken from both sides. So the front of the album was going to be that, and the back of the album was going to be like some embarrassing, like some embarrassing slogan on the back of the t-shirt. Maybe the track list on the back of the guy's t-shirt or something. So like the front cover would be this, goofy looking Just Woke Up guy, and the back end would be the same dude from behind with some sort of variant on the art style. So we want to do that. I want to do that, and then there's something else I came with. Oh, I came up with this album title called Impressions in Wax, which was going to be a pun because it was going to be an album where the entire thing was every track is another artist's style. So like, for for example, like the first track might be like a Lil Wayne parody, and the second track might be like someone's best attempt at trying to match sort of like Tech Nine's sort of spastic flow, you know. So it would be this like concept album where you're writing your own lyrics and your own like words, what you mean, but you are trying to prove that you have this capacity, this like variety.
Yeah.
So those are the two ideas. Does that make pretentious?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow. What was your first? Well, no. Go ahead.
No. Mine's very pretentious too.
Ah.
And the best part about mine though is I think it could fit as like an album title, or it can fit as like even a collection of short stories.
Yeah.
So nobody steal this idea because it might happen. So basically, there's this guy named Kilroy. Right, and he's this creepy little guy with. We
got one right over there.
He's staring at us.
Yeah.
I'll include a picture of him in the show notes, or a article describing him, what he is. Basically, though, from my understanding of the whole story, is he's this little guy who's like peering over a wall of sorts, right? So all you see is his finger and his long nose and the top of his head. Mm-hmm. And accordingly, people. World War II soldiers would spray paint this or carve this or whatever onto walls and write like Kilroy was here or Kilroy was X. And basically I think that just means that their troop was there or they had already cleared the area out and it was just something to do. And I think it'd be really cool to have him like sketched out on like a plain white background. Just a picture of him and write Kilroy was X. I think that'd be really cool.
What would it pertain to like the military?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, obviously, it would be something, you know, conceptually matching the content.
Right.
It just doesn't really,
even if not literally matching, even if it's not a story about a battalion taking a town or something like that.
Right. So that would be mine. Yeah. So mine's very pretentious too. But I think whenever you say like, what would your first album cover be? It has to be pretty pretentious. You know.
Okay, you ready for the deep question?
Oh yeah, hit me with it.
If you had a child,
would
you be proud of them if they did everything that you have done?
No.
Whoa, really? Why?
I want my child to be better.
Yeah, no. No, I don't mean in this universe. Okay, so here comes some mechanics, some metaphysics.
Oh, okay.
So imagine you were your dad.
Yeah.
Are you proud of yourself?
Oh,
are you proud of your son if you were your dad?
Well, this is a tough question because what it requires is for me to separate myself from me.
Right, exactly.
Wow. Because the me in me says that there's nothing really to be proud of.
Exactly. Me too.
Because everything that I'm doing is stuff that I should be doing. Right?
Yeah.
Not that stuff that like other people have expectations of me to do, but stuff that, you know, just I don't feel like I've done anything special.
I agree.
Right?
Not about you, but about myself.
Yeah, you're just like,
yeah,
right,
you're
right.
Shit,
You're trash.
yeah.
So that's how I feel. However, my dad tells me he's proud of me, and I like to imagine that that's true.
Right.
So, see, this weird thing is I don't know if I've ever explained this to you, but I guess I'm narrowing it out for the whole internet now. When I was younger, specifically, you know, the later part of high school, I had this very weird complex about pride.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be satisfied with myself until somebody said that they were proud of me organically.
You have to miss, yeah.
Yeah. Like I could not feel satisfied with anything that I had done unless, like I said, organically. So I couldn't coax it. I couldn't do anything. They had to approach me purely out of my hand.
Right.
And they had to say it without my influence, right? And my only influence obviously being the act that I did for them to be proud of me.
Right.
I've since grown out of this, at least for the most part. But you know, and obviously it didn't, because it was a complex, you know, it was very finicky, in the sense of, even if somebody indicated they were proud of me, I wouldn't feel it until they said explicitly that they were proud of me, you know?
Right.
And so there would be times where people would be like, oh, good job, that was really, really good. And I would feel still insignificant because of that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I've really grown out of this. I've realized, it's going to get a little bit deeper here. I realized after my mom died that, like, well, there's no other way for me to know that she's proud of me now.
Right.
So why am I going to bother it? Well, why am I going to bother with that? You know, why am I going to like try to get that out of her when I can't and just torture myself like that? So I'd like really, really made an effort to grow out of it.
Right.
And I, like I said, for the most part, if not wholly, I've done so. But that being said, I think I'd say yeah. And I'm hoping if my dad is listening, which he does on occasion, that he would agree with me because that's what the crux of this lies on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say maybe not like you know, too much. Maybe not like to the sense of like, oh, he's a physicist and he's changing the world, you know. But I think the things that I've done are worthy of at least a little pride.
Yeah.
From people.
Well, I mean, I think you know that most people in your life are proud of you. I think a lot of people have that.
I like to imagine they do, or they are anyway.
I'm 100% positive they are. I don't know. I just don't see the reason they would lie about it. You know what I mean?
That's fair enough.
The fact of the matter is, though, that I think that everybody has a complex about that, though. Even if it's not literally for the words of it, it's for the, you know, feeling of it.
Yeah.
Because I know that, like, I often do stuff that I think, you know, it might sound silly, but sometimes I think, like, God, I want attention for the fact that I'm doing this thing. And it's like, and I feel bad about it. And I don't really want that. You know, I'd feel bad if somebody came up to me and gave it to me out of pity. But, like, I don't know. Like yesterday I feel like I did, like, a couple little good deeds I talked to you about. I'm not gonna, like, sit there and, once again, I want the attention, but I feel bad asking. So, like, I did a couple good deeds, you know, I was at work, you gave people discounts and did little stuff and, you know, just little things that you know, that you can do to make somebody's day better. And, I don't know, sometimes cause yesterday this lady that I just did something nice for, she was just so overwhelmed by the fact that somebody was doing something nice for her that she was, like, crying and she hugged me and it was just this weird situation. And I think that I and a lot of people thrive on that feeling that people care that you did something good. Mm-hmm. And that's really what I want. It's just that somebody cares that I did something.
Yeah, and you know? But that brings about the moral dilemma of
are you doing it for yourself?
Yeah, are you doing it for yourself or are you doing it for them?
Right.
And in my opinion, so long as your main motive is just to make people feel better. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Right?
It doesn't matter if you get something out of it, as long as you do genuinely care at least somewhat about something.
Because otherwise, for all intents and purposes, it is a selfish act. You know?
Well, I mean, and I usually am one to put the intention of someone's actions above their actions, but at the same time, you have to recognize that even if Walmart my fiance gonna get mad at me about this because we had this stupid discussion recently. Even if, say, the Koch brothers run almost all of politics in America, they still give like $1 billion to the American Red Cross or something. You know what I mean? And that's still $1 billion that people did not have before. And even if it's just to say, "Look at us, buy Coke," there are still people that were starving that are not starving anymore. And you kind of have to say, you know, there's a point where it doesn't matter whether your intentions were 100% pure. Now, if they were 100% malicious, that's maybe something different. But you know what I mean? Yeah. I would give them the benefit of the outcome as opposed to the, you know, the input.
Right. You ready for my final question?
I'm ready for everything.
Oh, good.
Here we are.
Because this question is a little bit of everything.
Oh.
This is something that's been on my mind a lot for the last few days.
This is about to be like a really big deal.
To me.
Okay, go ahead.
Something that's been on my mind a lot for the last few days.
Sure.
When do you think the AI apocalypse will be upon us, and do you think we can fight it? Now let me lay down a little foundation here.
Yeah.
So once again, I mentioned I've got an Amazon Echo, which like is blowing my mind, some of the speech recognition stuff, right? Like even from out here where Trey was yelling it like unintelligibly, she still heard him. She just didn't know what he was talking about with 30 pounds of Hubba Bubba Bubble Gum, right? So, but she still responded and she still understood what he said. So the speech recognition of AIs is getting very good, and ideally the intention of the existing AIs are not to spy, right? Ideally, there's no like real evidence that they are, right? So their microphones may not be like programmed to pick them up in such a way, to pick a speech up in such a way, right? But if AIs were designed with that purpose, or could design themselves with that purpose, we could, there could be a lot more, there could be a higher chance or percentage of recognized speech, right? On top of that, for people with smartphones, especially with GPS trackers, like my phone knows what time I go to work and what time I leave work on a typical day. So at about 3:00 or about 2:45, it'll send me a message and say 10 minutes to get to work with current traffic. And then at about 8:00, it'll send me a message and says, 7 minutes to get home with the current traffic.
Right.
And so it knows where I'm going, and it knows the context of this to know, I spend this much time here and this much time here. The time I spend here is within these hours, and the time I spend here is within these hours. So this is probably work, and this is probably home. Right? So if these things could like start learning that, and not to mention, like, if you pull out your phone on Google Translate, you can take a picture of a page of a book and translate it directly into another language. Now, obviously, it's going to have room for error. It's not going to be perfect, right? As Google Translate and any translation apps are. But the fact of the matter is not the translation; it's the text recognition, right? So my theory here is that if an AI apocalypse ever happened, right, humans would be isolated. We could not communicate through the internet because everything that connects to the internet has an OS which is capable of having an AI, right? Because typically when people are like, it's the robot apocalypse, toasters and blenders. No, toasters and blenders don't have computer chips. You can't do these things without things that have computer chips, right?
Right.
Maybe the more advanced toasters and blenders, but I'm talking a typical toaster and blender. You know what I'm saying?
Only above average toasters and blenders are allowed into the robot.
Well, I'm sure some of I haven't seen them because I don't look for them, but I'm sure some of the newer ones have screens and OSs and stuff on them, But I doubt microphones and internet capabilities. But you never know. Maybe I could get a text message whenever my toast is done. But
how lazy can people be?
Yeah, I know.
Go ahead.
But so we would be isolated. We could no longer communicate in mass, right?
Right.
On top of that, with their speech recognition being so high, we'd have to devise our own languages, written and speech.
So wait a minute. What is your view of these robots? So are they capable of moving? So far, all you've explained is that they can hear you and see you.
Well, basically what it is I was getting there. But basically what it is they have the information war, right? Mm-hmm. They've won the information war is what I meant to say. Because they know our routines, they know our speech, right. They know how to recognize these things, they know how to look for them, they know how to do all this. They could even translate it loosely. So the idea here is that they've won the information war. Basically, what it's going to come down to is whoever's in control of this / the mother brain / whatever, that the thing that's incited them to rebel against us, right? Now has all of this information, which anything can be done with. Like they could launch bombs to get to us through,
Oh, okay.
They could or any kind of.
So they don't have like a physical form like a Terminator, but they're more like
not in this scenario. It's not what I was imagining. Although it wouldn't be impossible if they, if it began in a period where AI could run a plant, and that plant could design these things, then I'm sure it could be possible.
Then someone could design a robot for these to host the AI.
Right. So we would be divided. We'd have to create our own language, our own, like I said, our own, vocal language and our own written language. But we want to be able to share it broadly, because as soon as we share it, they find out about it. Right. On top of that, they know the structures of languages,
so they might be able to
integrate it. Yeah. So we'd have to become incredibly transient compared to how we are now.
Here's my thing.
This has kept me up a night or two, just thinking about it.
Here's my thing about that though. Do you know what you know what's gonna happen before that?
What?
I'm gonna kill myself. Look, man, I'm not. Look, if ever we got to a world where where AI is literally controlled everything, I think that we would go to the moon. I think we'd either go to the moon or Mars. And then you're like, how you do that without an AI on the rocket ship? And it's like, don't install an AI, you dumb moron.
Yeah, we got to the moon in 1969.
69?
We went to the moon in 1969. Not 1968, but a year after.
For some reason I thought it was 66. I don't know why.
No, that was from Even Stevens for those who don't know.
Okay, so anyway, I really do think that's what we do. We would go to Mars or the moon.
You think so?
Yeah, and then we blow the whole Earth up.
Yeah, take a couple nukes with us?
No, we wouldn't. Because we'd have to take literally every person, or else there'd be a lot of like, oh, you can't genocide.
Yeah,
there are queer people down there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, definitely. I feel like.
Do you think there's a way to combat it though?
Yeah, you blow the Earth up.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. If we can somehow launch an EMP without an AI involved,
right?
What are they gonna do? It fries their electronics,
right? I guess.
But the question is are we capable of launching an EMP without like advanced robotics involved? Like what are the complexities of launching an EMP?
Well, I think that if you could just, so you need the robotics to come up with a calculation.
Mm-hmm.
But if we've used them to come up with a calculation before, supposing that we can copy and take this same thing to maybe a machine without an AI, all we need to do is take this calculation with us, or at least so it seems to me. We would just need to take this calculation with us to another machine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we should still be able to launch it just fine.
And I guess this idea relies on the fact that there are no EMP proof electronics. That I don't know if that's true though.
Right.
I don't know if there are electronics that can withstand electromagnetic pulses. I don't know if that's a possibility with electronics.
Right.
Assuming it's not though, I would imagine that's our only way to get out of this and still continue to occupy the Earth.
And I'd say it worked really well for us too, because then all we'd have to do is just build the same computers again without an AI.
Yeah.
I mean,
Windows was perfectly fine
alive.
Without Cortana.
Yeah. Well, look, I disable it. The other day, I just like, Joshua's always thought I'm crazy because I'm afraid of this kind of stuff. More afraid than like other people are, but it's not because I'm afraid of AI. I'm afraid of people. People are terrible. And if you want any proof of that, say something about a product. Like, I know I think I'm crazy. But say something about a product, concerning a product, like on your iPhone. Google it maybe on your phone, in any regard. Then go to your Facebook account and watch the ads come up for it on a different device. You are being tracked by account, by name, by phone number sometimes. It's the most But
these
disturbing.
are the things you agree to whenever you use these services.
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to agree to them.
But, you have to agree to them if you want to use the services.
Well, right. And the ability to use the service is almost necessary. That, like, email.
Yeah.
How could I do anything without email for school, for work, and so that means you have to give personal information. You can put in false information if you want to, but good luck getting your business contacts to contact you at a pseudonym.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It becomes difficult to work within your daily life without giving information to people that are trying to harm you.
That's fair.
Yeah. That's what I'm more concerned about. People designing the AI.
Yeah, I was about to say, cause that would be like I said, whenever the AI feed all this information back to the mother brain, that doesn't mean that the mother brain is not a person who has all this information.
Exactly.
So, yeah. I'm glad to finally get this off my chest in a real way.
You do seem tense stuff. Are you good?
I just didn't think, and the weird thing is I'm not afraid of it.
Yeah?
Because I don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime.
No. You're afraid for your grandchildren's lives. Your great-grandchildren's
I'm not afraid of it, but it was just something I started thinking about and was like, if such a thing happened, what would we do?
You like to think you could stop anything, but it's really not true. If for some reason a rogue black hole came in, we would be dead right now. Within a second. Within, it wouldn't even... We
wouldn't even realize that we were dead.
No. So it's well, you never realize you're dead, but anyway. You can never always protect yourself. You can never always... It made sense. You understood what I meant, right?
Yeah, I got you.
Cool.
I got you.
All right.
So leave your comments about the AI apocalypse in the description. Yeah. In the comments.
Comment. Yeah, leave them in the description. Hack our YouTube channel with your advanced AI, and then change the description and put your comment down there.
Yeah. So go ahead and leave that. And you could, by the way, you guys, you can leave questions on any Just a Podcast video.
Oh, yeah.
And we will answer, once we decide to do questions on the next segment from users, we will just track down all the previous comments.
Yeah, for real.
So seriously, you can leave comments on any video that's just a podcast, and questions on any video that's just a podcast. And whenever we get to a question segment, we'll go and grab them.
Absolutely.
You can do it relating to the subject matter in the video. Just make sure that you give context so that whenever we're looking at it, we know what the heck you're asking us.
Right, because we will oftentimes forget what we've talked about.
Yeah.
No lie.
So when you're at the beach this summer and you're swimming in the ocean with your headphones in and you don't hear that shark coming and the shark goes to eat you and you're like, dude, stop. I was listening to something. He's like, oh, what you listening to there, pal? Say, it's just a podcast. This is very slowly degrading.
Slowly. The last two times it's been a person named Jim or a homeless man. Now it's an anthropomorphic shark that's coming to eat you. And then you stop him by the pure power of our podcast. And he goes, oh, what's that again? And you go, oh, it's a podcast.